Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar tonight, which is on the following topic: grow your business, fast track your career. What is the added value of an international MBA degree? My name is Iliana Bobova and I'm Head of Admissions Consulting at PrepAdviser.com. We will have about an hour to discuss how an MBA degree can help you grow professionally, personally, and how it can help your career. I would like to make this webinar as interactive as possible. So you have the opportunity to ask questions in the chat box and in the questions box. Just post your questions and I will read them out loud and reply to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so let's move on. Briefly about myself, I have been working in the field of international education for over 20 years, advising people from different cultures and countries on choices of education and career at different stages of their lives, starting from working with people selecting their undergraduate degrees, programs and universities, people interested in pursuing graduate studies on a master's level, as well as people like you interested in MBA degree programs internationally. I have also worked as a career counselor, and this helped me have a really holistic perspective on the process of selecting graduate studies while considering also your career objectives and your personal objectives and personal style as well. So for several years, more than 6, I have also been part of the admissions office of an executive MBA program, and for the past 4 years I have also worked for Access MBA and Access Masters, and I believe some of you are acquainted with these events. So I would like to start with the following 3 points of our presentation. So by the end of the presentation, you will know how an MBA will help you grow your business. If you own your own business or if you would like to start your own business, how an MBA can fast track your management career if you aspire to being a manager in the corporate world or in another area, and how an MBA builds on your education and experience so far. So the Master of Business Administration is actually a degree program, postgraduate program, but it's very different from the rest of the master's programs. The MBA is considered to be really the golden standard in management education. it means a lot in the business world, and more in other sectors of business, public sectors, etc. The MBA is a type of program which is offered by universities or by business schools, but these programs need to be accredited. So there are 3 major accreditation agencies which give a stamp of quality to international MBA programs. And these are the Association of MBAs, also known as AMBA, the European Quality Improvement System, or EQUIS. This is also based in Europe, as AMBA is, and the American one, which is the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, which each of these associations can give accreditation to programs operating in different regions. Like AMBA can accredit programs provided in the US, EQUIS as well as the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business can accredit European programs as well. Accreditation is a very thorough review of what a program offers and with what quality everything is provided. So once a program has an accreditation, this means that the quality is really, really good. One program may apply for an accreditation from more than one agency, and there are many programs which are accredited by at least 2 of these agencies, and there are also programs which are accredited by all 3 of them, and this is called the Golden Crown, the Triple Crown, or Triple Accreditation. There are about 60 programs in the world which possess this triple accreditation, and the majority of them are European ones. Part of the reason for this is not that US programs are not good enough to achieve triple accreditation, but the Association of MBAs approves programs which require at least 3 years of professional work experience from the students. And many of the US programs, even the top programs in the US, they admit students with less than 3 years of work experience, for example 2 years. And this fact doesn't make it possible for even the top US programs to get accreditation from, for example, from AMBA. So this is one of the major reasons for which you will not see many US programs possessing this triple accreditation. So this world of MBAs is very broad. There are thousands of MBA programs, and one of the factors to consider when selecting the best of them, the really high quality programs, is to look at their accreditations. One accreditation, one of these 3, is just enough and means that the program is really, really of high standard. Those who have dual or triple accreditation, they are really good, excellent programs. Another aspect which you're maybe familiar with are the media rankings, which are very popular because they just give the lists of the best MBA programs in either different regions, like the best MBA programs in Europe, or the best full-time programs, or the best executive programs, or the best programs globally. So the most popular media rankings are the one of Business Week, the one of Financial Times, the one of Forbes, etc. There are several more media rankings. So by looking at these sources, like the accreditation bodies and the media rankings, you can get an idea about the best MBA programs in the world. But when you use media rankings, please first review very carefully the methodology of each ranking, because they are different. Some of the methodologies focus on the return of investment after graduating an MBA, and they list the schools based on this criteria. But this may not be the most important criteria for you. So you should look at the list of criteria of each ranking and decide whether these criteria are important to you or not. If they are not important to you, then you don't need to use this ranking at all. There are other ways in which you can make your own ranking and select the really, really best programs just right for you. But these are two of the major indicators which you can use when you start researching for MBA programs and get some orientation in the MBA world. Okay, so what is specific about the MBA programs? First, in terms of curriculum, in terms of what they will teach you. The programs are two types. The General Management MBA is actually the classical MBA program, which originated over 50 years ago in the US. Many of the MBA programs today still keep this model, the general management focus of the program. But there is a recent tendency for MBA programs, for some of the MBA programs, to get more and more specialized, and they do that by either offering the possibility of elective courses. So in the general management MBAs, your curriculum is fixed, so you study all the courses in the program. In programs which allow some specialization, you can have elective courses. So basically you can select an area of preference to you by just choosing 2 or 3 additional courses during your studies. A higher level of specialization is if the MBA program offers some concentrations or specializations. They might be related to some functional area, like for example MBA with a specialization in management consulting, or an MBA with a specialization in strategic management, etc. And the highest level of specialization is if an MBA offers a focus on a specific industry. And there are more and more of these MBAs. An MBA in oil and gas, an MBA in wine industry, an MBA in luxury management, an MBA in aviation, etc. So you can see that the MBA offerings now are really broad, and you can choose what is best for you. So if you would like to get the full scope of management views and disciplines and skills, you can go to the classical general management MBA. In a specialized MBA, you will still get this fundament, but you can then, if you wish, select some focus. Or, for example, if you come from the industry of aviation, if you have worked so far in this field and you would like to grow in the management of the sector, you can then go for an MBA specialized in the field of aviation. Some of these MBA programs have even more specific specializations. An MBA in aviation may have a further specialization in management of airlines or management of airports, etc. So these are the types of MBAs in terms of curriculum. MBAs also differ in terms of format, and this is important to know because many of you who are already well positioned on their job and do not want to make a big pause, get out of the job, stay out of the market, maybe will be looking for more flexible formats for an MBA. So here are the most popular MBA formats. The full-time MBA means that you quit your job and you commit to your studies. You go back to school, commit to your studies for either 1 year, which is between 10 and 12 months, and is primarily the European model. The part-time MBA is something which you can combine with your work, so you don't have to quit your job, but you can continue studying. The modular MBA is a very interesting mix of part-time MBA. It's kind of the part-time because you don't have to quit your job. You have to travel to the university and attend classes on campus, and you will also have some work to do on your own or on the online platform of the program. So this is a very interesting format for people who first do not want to quit their jobs. They want to study at the same time. They do not want to study entirely online because they want to benefit from the personal contact, face-to-face interaction in the classroom with peers and professors. They want to go on campus and actually be in the university and take advantage of all these social activities, meetings with business leaders, recruiters, etc. So this format is gaining more and more popularity among MBA aspiring professionals. Another format is the distance MBA, and this differs from the modular format in terms of the frequency of attending the campus. Basically, you can do most of the studies from distance and don't even go to visit the university. And the executive MBA or the EMBA, it has actually two meanings. There is a program type which is called executive MBA, meaning that it is focused on people with more professional and managerial experience, focused on the executives. And here I also mean the executive format, which is very close to the modular format, but it can suggest more frequent visits to the university. Like, for example, on a modular format, you should go to the university once a month for 3 or 4 days, while if you are in an executive MBA program, in an executive format of an MBA, your visits to the university may be more frequent, like every weekend or every other weekend, etc. So anyway, this slide here is to show that there is a great variety of offerings in terms of delivery format of the MBA programs, and if you want to combine your studies with your job, you can do so. If you want to take a break, leave the job for a year or 2 years if you want to study in the US, you can do that, and then you have to research the full-time MBA options, which have their advantages as well compared to other formats. But it all depends on your goals. Okay, the next thing I would like to highlight is how MBAs differ in terms of international exposure. The focus of an MBA is to prepare business leaders, managers to be effective in an international environment, in a global business world. So programs do this. Programs achieve this goal in different ways. And I would like to explain 5 of them here in order to give you an idea so that you know what you're looking for. So first, you have to decide for yourself to what extent you would like to be exposed to international communication, contacts, businesses, peers, etc. So that you, when you're researching the programs, you know what to look for. So the first exposure you can get is in your immediate environment. This is your MBA class. MBA classes are of different size. European classes are typically smaller compared to US classes, which are larger. Like in European business schools, you can have an MBA class of, let's say, between 30 and 100 people. In the US, it's typically double that number. Some of those larger classes, they are divided in cohorts. But anyway, a class builds your immediate network. And it's important to think what kind of people you would like to study with. Because some business schools aim at really diverse classes. They want to have students from all continents, from as many countries as possible, from as many cultures as possible, speaking as many languages as possible. Because MBAs in this way create the learning environment for you. So if you want to, let's say, grow your business really internationally, it might be useful to select a program in which students come from all parts of the world. If you are interested in growing your business in a specific region, then you might be interested in a program which attracts more students from that region. Also, you have to be aware that some of the programs are very much mononational, like they are local and the majority of the students on the class come from the same country or from the same region. So this is a good option for you if your business plans are to target that specific region, because then you will build connections with many people thinking like you, having the ideas of developing a business in this region. Okay, so this is what class diversity means, and how and what information to look for when you select MBA programs depending on international exposure. Another step, many MBA programs do that, is during the studies they take the MBA class on a study trip abroad to one or several countries. During this trip, students visit international companies, they meet the managers, they listen to their presentations, they have discussions. But these are like very short visits. For example, students travel for a week or for 2 weeks, visit one or several countries, for example in Europe, and meet about 10 companies, and have up to 4 hours within one company. So this is the maximum which you can get if a program offers a study trip or only a study trip. So a higher level of international exposure is if the MBA program offers or requires students to work on international projects during their studies. So the university may put you in touch with international companies or foreign companies, and you can work on a project with them for a semester, or you may be expected to identify international companies and negotiate with them to work on a project, etc. So you might get help from the university, or everything might be depending on how proactive you are. But anyway, this provides the opportunity to get to know a company deeper, establish better working relationship with them compared to, let's say, the study trips, where you just meet the managers of the company for several hours, you ask questions, they reply, and that's it. So a further level of international exposure may be to have an internship in an international company or a foreign company during your studies. One-year programs based in Europe offer the opportunity for internships, and the US MBAs, which are 2-year, offer also a great opportunity for internships, especially in the summer between the 2 years. And some applicants prefer that because they want to have more interaction with local companies in the US or American companies abroad. And here is the difference, because the previous option is just to work on an international project, and this option is to do an internship with a company. And yet another option for international exposure is to spend 1 semester of your MBA studies either on a foreign campus of the same university or in a partner university in another country, which means that you will you will be meeting even more MBA students, because when you go on a different campus, or especially in a different university, you will be mixed with the MBA students there. So this expands even more your network of potential business contacts. Also, this means that you will be immersed in a different culture for much longer, for a full semester. So there are universities which have campuses in several countries, several continents, and they offer this opportunity. So all these options are for you to consider and first think and decide for yourself about what is your preference. Then, so that when you start researching schools, when you start meeting schools coming to your country or attending webinars, etc., you can ask specific questions about what type of international exposure they offer, and you can select the best one for you. Okay, so now here is how an MBA builds on your education and experience. As I said, the MBA is a master's program. It is a form of postgraduate study, but it is very practically oriented education. Of course, the idea of a master's degree is to build upon your undergraduate studies and to focus you, to specialize you in a field in which you would like to develop further and to grow. But for example, what is the difference between, let's say, doing a master's in management and doing an MBA, or doing a master's in marketing and doing an MBA? Let's say like that. The master's studies are for people who would like to develop their expertise into the field of specialization. So if you're really keen on marketing, it's better to do a master's in marketing. If you're really keen on finance, it's better to do a master's in finance. On the other side, if you want to grow as a manager and as a business leader, then the MBA is for you, because the MBA gives you the full scope of knowledge and skills in how to run and develop a business, and let's say any business in any sector, in any industry. So the MBA will give you this knowledge. Of course, in an MBA you will study economics, you will study finance, you will study human resources, you will study business ethics, law, etc. But all these subjects will be from the point of view of a manager. So you will be studying managerial accounting, managerial finance, etc. While in a master's program, you will go deeper into the field of expertise of your choice, for example, in finance. And then you can go even deeper into different areas of finance. One option which many people choose is to first do a master's degree to deepen their expertise in a certain area. Then they go work for several years, 3, 5, etc. And then they reach the point when they say, okay, now I want to grow as a manager and take the next step. So at this point, they decide to do an MBA. And it is perfectly possible, logical, etc. Some people just make this choice. I want to be an expert or I want to be a manager. And these are two very different mindsets and require different skills. So the MBA is this postgraduate, very practically oriented education for people who aspire to becoming business leaders and growing as managers, or for people who want to start or grow their own business, people with entrepreneurial spirit. And entrepreneurship goes into the direction of business or more and more into social ventures. Okay. Another very important thing to consider is that to qualify for an MBA, you will need to have at least 3 years of professional full-time work experience. Here I have to say that there are MBA programs which require less than 3 years, like 2 years, but 2 years would be the minimum. And there are some MBA programs which are open to fresh graduates or people with experience below 2 years. But then the environment, the focus, the teaching method in these programs are very different, and it's a matter of decision whether this MBA, this kind of MBAs will be worthwhile for you or not. So think about it. Think about the type of people which you will be studying with, learning from, sharing ideas with, getting feedback from. But anyway, the standard, the classical MBA is for experienced people, people who have gone through practical cases, issues, difficult situations, have their achievements, successes, and the program, the curriculum, the teaching in an MBA program relies very heavily on the fact that people have their own professional experience. So here, another clarification I would like to make, and it is that here we speak about work experience and not necessarily managerial experience. So make the difference. Some of the executive MBA programs may require that you have several years of managerial experience. But when we speak about the MBA, not the executive MBA, the MBA, most of them will require just work experience. So they will be looking at your responsibilities during your several years on the job, whether you have growing responsibilities, whether you have progressed, whether you have some managerial responsibilities, like, for example, supervising one or two or more people, managing some budget, etc. So even if you do not have the position of a manager, you can still have some managerial responsibilities on the job, and this will be evaluated. But overall, the requirement is just for full-time work experience. Okay, so the MBA requires strong analytical and quantitative skills. This doesn't mean that your undergraduate education, your bachelor's degree, is in fields of mathematics, engineering, or economics. No. You may have studied medicine or languages or history, etc., and still have these analytical and quantitative skills. But they are very important for those who want to develop and grow as managers. So even if you have these skills, besides your undergraduate degree, you will have to prove that you have them, and universities will require some admission tests. One of the most famous of them is the GMAT, the Graduate Management Admission Test, and it has two sections which are based on math, which would test directly your quantitative skills and analytical skills, but also the so-called verbal section and the analytical writing assessment, they also check your analytical skills. So this is something which is a must for you if you want to grow as a manager. Of course, here we speak about international MBA programs which are taught in English. So you will need to be fluent in English. And I mean fluent in all four skills of the language: listening, reading comprehension, writing, and speaking. Because when you study in any academic program, not only an MBA, in any academic program in English, you will need to communicate without any trouble in all these four ways. You will be participating in discussions in class, you will be listening to the presentations of the professors and to the presentations of your peers as well, and you should be able to understand. And have in mind that even if you come from the field of business and management, even if you have studied this as an undergraduate degree, there will still be a lot of new terminology, names, which will be distracting you, and if you don't master the language well enough, this will be a challenge for you. So you will also have to write a lot of papers and essays during your studies, and interact with your students. So you should be fluent in English. So I may read and understand well in French, but if I can't express myself in French, and if I have trouble understanding what people tell me in French, then I will not cope in a program taught in French. So it is important that you have no trouble working with a language. Also, another aspect to consider is many candidates say, I work with English every day on the job. But again, think whether your work requires primarily written communication, like reading, emails, etc., or you really use all the four skills, like listening, speaking, writing, and reading. If this is the case, then you have to build the additional skills and make sure you will have no trouble into the program. An additional factor is that in these international programs you will meet people from different nations speaking English with different accents. So this should not be another burden for you. Okay, next. As it is obvious, being a postgraduate degree, the MBA requires that you have an undergraduate degree, so at least a bachelor's degree. But often, as I already mentioned, people go to the MBA after they already have a master's degree in some area. Also, there are subject areas or countries where there is no bachelor's degree, but there is just a master's degree. So either a bachelor or a master is a required qualification for you to be eligible to enroll in an MBA program. Okay, and several more skills and attitudes which the MBA requires for you. You need to be an achiever. You need to be results oriented. This is very important, and this is something which you will need every day into the MBA program. This is the culture of the MBA. This is the culture of management. This is the culture of the business world. You need to achieve, and you need to be able to drive achievement. So, of course, you may not have already developed this skill up to the limit, but you need to aspire to this culture of achievement, and also you need to show evidence that you have made achievements, that you've made progress, you know how to get results, etc. A very important aspect in MBA programs is the leadership, and this is something that most people say you must have. It's kind of innate, it's natural to you, and it's difficult to educate and train if you don't have it naturally anyway. I would say that not everyone is, of course, a natural leader. In a business and managerial position, it's not necessarily important to always take the leadership role. But again, think about whether this will be a comfortable role for you or not. Because you know that managers are at different levels as well. There are operational managers and there are CEOs, etc., which are really at the top of the company, and they need to be, very often they need to be inspiring leaders. But it's perfectly fine if you're not the natural leader, but think carefully how you act when you're in a group of people. What is your most comfortable position in a group? It may be more than one, but you know, there are people who naturally or feel most comfortable when they openly express their opinion, when they enjoy convincing people in their perspective, etc. There are other people who prefer to step back, to observe, to analyze. So just be aware of what is your most comfortable position in a team, in a group, etc. And this will help you when selecting the MBA program, because there are MBA programs with different cultures. And some of the MBA programs really encourage the competitive spirit, others are more collaborative. So this also comes into play when you select the MBA programs. Another important aspect, which I already spoke about, is the intercultural awareness, also the international exposure. So these are two different things, but you need to analyze whether you have them, whether they are important for you, whether you want to improve them, and then show them during the application process of an MBA. But in most of the MBAs, these qualities will be improved, and it will be expected from you to aspire to interculturalism and to international work and exposure. Here I would like to point out that you may have been internationally exposed even if you only worked in your home country. You may have not traveled abroad and still have an international exposure. For example, if you worked with clients from different countries and continents, if on your team you had someone from a different culture, even a national of the same country, these are elements of intercultural awareness and international exposure. If you have traveled abroad, even for vacation, this is international contact and exposure. Just don't think about these two elements just in terms of job. Overall, the application for an MBA takes into account your whole personality and not only what you showed on the job. Because practically speaking, you're just one person, and you're not one person on the job and another person out of the job. And this coherence and integrity is very, very important. And business schools are looking at it, and they try to really understand how well-rounded you are and get to know you in order to find your uniqueness and to evaluate how you fit to the MBA class and what you will contribute to the MBA class and to this diverse learning environment which they aim to create. And finally, the MBA is just a step to something else. It's not a goal in itself, it's a step to something else. So people do decide to do an MBA because they want to achieve something more. Either they want to improve their career, to grow as managers, either they want to start an international career, and the MBA is widely recognized and respected internationally, so this very often helps. It's like a visa for many managerial jobs in international companies. People want to change the industry they work in, so the MBA also helps with that. Or, as already mentioned, you might want to start your own business venture or a social venture, and you need the MBA knowledge in order to do that. You need contacts with like-minded people in MBA programs. So when you're selecting an MBA program, think about your goal and check whether each program which you're reviewing will help you reach your goal. Because programs have different focuses. Some are more useful for people who would like to work in industries. Others are useful for people who would like to go to management consulting companies. Others are better for people with entrepreneurial spirit. Some programs are focused even on family business. You know, there are MBAs with a focus on family business. So think about your goal. It takes time. Maybe you'll have to think about it for a month, take notes, discuss with friends and family. But you have to be aware of your long-term goal, then mid-term, then short term, and then how an MBA will help you reach your goals. And this is a very important element when it comes to selecting the right MBA for you, and when it comes to preparing your application package and convincing the school that their program is the right for you, and you will benefit from the program. Okay, so here you see that the MBA actually requires a lot in terms of education, language skills, analytical quantitative skills, experience, as I said, professional, but also sometimes managerial, and also attitudes and skills and qualities like results orientation, some leadership, and intercultural, international awareness. But it all starts from your goal, from what you want to achieve. Because the MBA is not the only option, and it's not necessarily the best one for everyone. So you have to decide for yourself. Now let's see how an MBA can fast-track your management career. So many of the people who do an MBA just want to grow on the hierarchy. They want to move up. They want to get more and more managerial responsibilities. They want to become CEOs or financial directors, etc. And this is maybe the most classical application of the MBA. Over the years, it is recognized to support this goal very well. Because the MBA is really an internationally recognized qualification. Even in countries where the Western management culture is not that recognized, if there are international companies there, an MBA means a lot. So if you would like to take this step, like work for an international company in your home country, an MBA will help a lot. The MBA gives builds a common language for managers internationally because of this foundation which it provides. It gives you the full scope of management knowledge in all management disciplines. So when you meet people having an MBA from anywhere, you have the basis of communication. You speak in your own language, and this is recognized. Another very important aspect which is highly appreciated by companies for people who want to grow as managers is to have this kind of business development knowledge and thinking, because the role of a manager is to drive the growth of the business. So this attitude is educated in an MBA, such as the managerial and leadership skills. So these are constantly trained throughout the program, and you will be interacting with other people who also want to be managers. They will have their own personal and managerial styles and leadership and a more stronger or natural or less expressed. But again, this is one of the standard qualities which the MBA educates. And if you have an MBA, everyone would know that you have the skills and you have the leadership mindset. Another important thing is that it's experience-based, it's very practically focused. Many of the MBA programs are taught on the case study method, so you work with a lot of practical cases, real cases from companies. And this is what happens in the everyday routine of a manager. So again, if you have an MBA, you're just ready to jump into the managerial role, even if you didn't have it so far. There is a lot of work. It's a requirement. It's the everyday in an MBA to work on team projects. On a team, you will be in different roles, not necessarily in a leadership role, because it's important to understand the different positions and the different roles in the team. Again, this is important for any manager. Okay, a business school can also help you set on a management career with the career coaching or career services. Many business schools have highly developed career centers, and they start working with the MBA students from day one into the program. There are schools, business schools, which even select their prospective students based on their career goals. So if the career goals of a student is something that the school cannot provide help with, then the school may not admit the student, just because it will not be worthwhile for neither the student nor the school. So again, this is an important part of your research of the school. If you think you will benefit from a career service, from career coaching, and I don't speak about just how to write a CV and how to act in an interview. It goes much deeper. Just research carefully what the school offers in this aspect. Network is maybe benefit number one, recognized by most students who already have an MBA. A network with your immediate class, which, as I said, may be between 30 and 100 people in Europe, and 200 to 400 in the US. So these are your future friends, business partners, business competitors, etc. In addition to your immediate class, you will join the alumni networks of the universities, the students who already graduated years ago, who are already well established on their job, in their companies, and who will always be happy to hear from someone who graduated the same school. So network helps a lot, and very often in job search, in transition to another company in another country, just use the immediate network, the alumni network, the alumni services of the business school. Also, business schools definitely help students find a job. It's a very good sign of the quality of a program if most students have found a job up to 3 months after graduation. So business schools have special help which assists you in achieving this goal, because very often it's your goal as well. So they communicate to companies, to recruiters, they bring them on campus, they prepare you for the announced positions, for the interviews, for the culture of the companies, etc. So this is a very direct way of assistance in moving up to even to your first managerial position after the MBA program. Of course, you have to be the active side. I mean, the university will not do the work for you. You have to be the active side and go and use the services. They will not do the job for you. There is a lot of statistics about the return on investment from an MBA. Most of the statistics you will see and you will find are very positive after the crisis in the US and after that in Europe. I mean, first the MBA kept stable and kept the return on investment, and then it continued to grow. So now I will not give you figures because you can find them easily on the web. But definitely the return on investment, the increase in salary is considerable. Of course, as I said, it all depends on your goals. So if you go to do an MBA because you want to grow your business or to start your business, the salary will not be your immediate indicator of return on investment. But if you would like to start an international career and grow as a manager, work for an international company, then there might be a considerable increase in your salary very soon after you finish your MBA. And here are the 3 typical reasons why people do an MBA. They would like to change the sector they have worked for. Even today I received a request for an evaluation of a profile of someone who said, I have worked for the past several years in communication companies, in public relations, but I'm very much business-minded and I'm unhappy in what I'm doing, so I want to do an MBA, etc. So change of sector is one of the reasons. Change employer or start your own business is another common motivation for people to think about an MBA. And also if you want to move to another country, region, or just go international, the MBA is, again, a perfect springboard for that. And here the simple logic is you select a school and a program in the country or region where you plan to start your job immediately after the MBA studies. It's also an option to go study abroad and then go back to your home country and develop a business or work for an international company there. It's another opportunity. So, and here is how the MBA helps you grow your business. If you already have your business, your own business, first being in an MBA class with people like-minded, achievers, leaders, helps your benchmarking. You will see where you are, how fresh your ideas are, how unique your ideas are. You will get constant feedback and new ideas from these people. And this is a very fresh and nurturing environment for you to expand and to grow and to continue. Another, as I already mentioned, benefit from an MBA is to grow your business network. So all those peers in your class, all those alumni to which you will get access, all the professors and real business leaders who will be attending classes and social events in the business schools, they will be glad to help you with ideas and contacts and advice at any time later during the MBA or after that. Then the case study method, the practical exercises, the teamwork just gives you a better scope and a broader vision on your business. As I already mentioned, you will grow as a business leader, or if you're not a natural business leader, at least you will improve your leadership skills and awareness, or you will be among other leaders, so you will understand what is your managerial and leadership style. I spoke about that. The MBA gives international exposure. Again, this is a matter of choice in selecting a program. Some of the programs are very mononational or regional, but still in the curriculum, in the way of teaching, you will be considering constantly the world, the region, the international experience, the latest trends in business internationally. So there is no way that you only think locally. when you're in an MBA. As I already said, the MBA classroom is a very vibrant place, full of new ideas and feedback constantly. Of course, mentioned already, there is a special focus in MBAs on entrepreneurship and even family business. So thank you very much for your attention and for your patience. Let's see what questions we have. We have a question from Natsu. Is it important to make a program MBA specific, like pharmacy, economy, or sales? And is there a website with diversified types of MBA programs? Okay, so as I already mentioned, this is a matter of your goals. So if you want to specialize or join or work in a certain field, like in pharmacy, it is logical to look for an MBA with some kind of a specialization in this field. Or you can go for a general management MBA, which has a lot of alumni working in the field of, let's say, pharmacy. But it all depends on your long-term goal. If you definitely see your long-term future in the field of pharmacy and you're sure you will stay there by the end of your life, then you can stick to this kind of a specialization. Otherwise, I would advise that you can be more broadly oriented and again, think about general MBAs, but look for programs which have the connections with the companies where you want to start your job immediately after graduation. But even if after the MBA you start in a pharmaceutical company, then you will have the general management knowledge to switch sectors and industries if you decide so on a later stage. Okay? There are different on the internet, there are different sources where you can find information about different types of MBAs. On PrepAdviser there is a school finder tool which you can use, and you can find additional information also from other sources. So definitely you will be able to find this information about the specializations, but it's most important for you to decide whether you need a specialization in what field or not. Okay, the next question comes from Lucas. I'm an associate in a law firm and I'm working with corporate company law. But I have always wanted to manage a business, like a CEO or a board member, but I don't have my own business or even a business idea. Do you think an MBA would be useful for me in terms of getting a job later on a board or any other international management position? Definitely. The MBA studies are very refreshing, very mind-opening, and even if you feel you are like business-oriented, but if you haven't found the business idea yet, I'm sure that if you go on an MBA, you will have plenty of business ideas, and you will also be able to find partners and support and advice to start up your own business venture. So again, it's definitely, I think your goal fits an MBA, so consider doing an MBA. If you have a legal background, this will be perfectly helpful for you, and will give you the qualifications, skills, and the expertise to sit on the board of any business company. Just think carefully about what you want to get from an MBA in terms of skills, contacts, in what regions, cultures, and countries you would be interested, and to what extent you would like to get international exposure. And also look at the student body of the program. Maybe if you're interested to study with more senior people who already have managerial experience, maybe people who are CEOs already, just check the student profile of the program. Contact the admissions offices and ask, because some programs really have such people in their classroom. Others have more junior students, like younger people with mid-level managerial positions. But some have the people who are working as SEOs, and it will be helpful for you to join such a program. Okay. Question from Nicholas. Do you know triple accredited executive MBA in sports and business? I'm already attending an executive MBA specializing in sports management in France. Do you think that I should get another executive MBA in sports management on an international basis? Thanks a lot. Okay, so I don't know all the MBA programs, so what I can do is I can check for you, or I can send you the link to the list of triple accredited programs. If you already have one MBA in sports management, I'm not sure you have to do another one, because it's also an investment of time. So make the most of the program which you're already studying in, and then if on a later stage you really feel you want to get additional studies, maybe you can get additional some executive courses. This is not an additional degree. These are more certificate programs for people on higher executive positions, executive programs. Yes, don't be in a rush to change the program. Just make the most of what you already have. Implement all your knowledge on the job, and then when the time comes, think about other forms. It also depends on your age, on your goal. So all these things which now I don't know. Maybe on the PrepAdvisors forum we'll have a section for profile evaluations. If you wish, you can post some more details there, and maybe we can discuss further. And a question from Anil, which are the good executive MBA programs in Canada? Again, here, just look at the accreditations of those three accrediting bodies, and any program which is listed there is certainly of good enough quality. And there are also special rankings which list executive MBA programs, but again, for rankings, as I said, first check the criteria for selecting these schools to include in the ranking. And definitely, if you're interested in Canada, a very good approach will be just to review for yourself the curriculum, the international exposure, the student body, etc., of all the executive MBA programs in Canada, and they are not an unlimited number. Maybe this is just the best approach for you, because there are the best programs in general. There are programs which are really the best for you, depending on your goal, on your qualifications, and on many other factors. So just check the accreditations. So start from accreditations. Check just for some initial idea the rankings, but definitely look deep into the executive programs in Canada, and take any chance to meet representatives of these programs at events like the Access MBA event, or directly in webinars and presentations provided by these schools. Okay? So thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to be with you tonight. Any additional questions are welcome on PrepAdviser's forum. When you go to PrepAdviser.com, you will see the forum, and just post your question in the topic of interest to you. And I or colleagues of mine, admissions experts, test preparation experts, will get back to you with details. Have a nice evening and good luck to all of you. Make the most of your MBA studies, your personal and professional goals.